Alright guys, well, I'm not into editing and spending my day doing editing, so what I wanted to do was talk to you face to face and then show you a new way of journaling to help you understand the Bible better. So I'm just going to have you looking at this little page right here for the moment as I do the intro. So I had a group of ladies who are writing out the Bible, handwritten. And it's a great way to learn how to read the Bible, okay? And understand it a little bit better because when you're handwriting it out, whether it's in print or in cursive, there's something that connects the motion and writing out the words because you're spelling out the words in your mind to write them, and it connects to your mind and then to your heart. So, and then always, 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 before you even get into the Bible, pray for the Holy Spirit to reveal things to you. I am going to be using right now the NLT version. I got this Bible from christianbooks.com. So if you're looking for a version to start with, I started out learning from the King James as a kid, but that was so hard and daunting to read through. So I went to, as a young adult, this Bible came out, and I used this one through probably through my 20s, or early 20s. But it is my favorite Bible, and it's worn up, it's marked up, and taped up, and all that good stuff. But as I was learning the Bible, and wanted to change up and to help me understand the verbiage a little bit better, I have added into my collection of Bibles the NCV, the NLT, the CSV, and then the NIV is usually my study Bible. But I wanted to vary it up a little bit. So, I would say go to christianbooks.com and choose the Bible that you want to start with. They have a lot of great sales. Sometimes they'll have Bibles that are a little, maybe there's a scratch in the cover, or it's missing this dust cover, or the pages are a little offbeat. The print, one of them that I got, the print was doubled on some of the pages. It doesn't bother me. I can still read it clearly. It just is double stamped. So, and I got it for, I got a $80 Bible for like $8 because it had that misprint in a few of the pages. So you can look at the clearance section, the sales section. They've always got some good prices, and you can choose the Bible that you like. Hobby Lobby does carry a few Bibles, and Walmart used to carry some Bibles. I think they still do, whatever's the popular one, and then you can probably grab a cheap basic version as well. So let me get to this and show you what I'm doing. So all you need is notebook paper, because this will be, pretty large. I think a journal will be too small, or you're going to be buying a whole lot of journals. So I think the best bet is just to use plain old notebook paper. I like the wide rule. If you have small print, you're going to get more on the page if you use the college ruled. Totally up to you, but you can get a 150 pack or 100 pack at dollar store for $1.25. I know when school starts, and then again in January, a lot of the stores like Target, Walmart, and so forth, they have really great sales for maybe $1 or less for a pack of 100. It's a great start. And then as you go on, figure out what you want. And then if you want to pitch it later, you can. There's nothing sacrilegious about it, but if you want to save it, that's great. So I started with Psalm 1 and already wrote that out. And what I did here, and let me show you a couple. So I'm just going to put the Bible aside for right now. And I do write in my Bible and highlight things because that's permanent. I know that I will look back at the references that I make, whatever's speaking to me. And so, again, I go into the Word, go into the Bible, and just saying, God, what are you saying to me today? What are you showing me? And realize that when you're doing this, every if, and, or but matters. Okay, so I have a couple of pencils at hand. I have a pen fetish. This is a mechanical pencil. You can use a regular pencil. You know, if you have a pencil, I like my pencil sharp. So I do have a pencil sharpener to keep that handy. If you don't have a pencil sharpener, for $1 you can get a pencil sharpener, one of those by hand. I use the Pilot G2 here, my Sharpie, which I'm going to put the lid on so it doesn't dry. I also, let's see, is this the same one? Yeah, Pilot G2. I love my, this was from the dollar store. This is called Ink. And this is really a nice pen, 0.7 gel ink. The dollar store, Dollar Tree, has fabulous pens. They've really upscaled. You can get a lot of these Pentel pens there. I have a blue pen handy if I want to use it. I also have Flair pens or Sharpie pens in different colors. Don't go crazy. I just happen to, I do a lot of journaling. I create and sell journals, so I have the vast array of colors. I've found these at the dollar store as well. Sometimes they're in 2-pack, but most of the time they're in 1-pack. These are fine tip, and it's really nice. They're a cross between the Flair and the Sharpie. I really, really, really love Zebra brand pens. They're very good quality. So if you go to the Dollar Tree and you see these Zebra Sarasas, they're new in the last year. And I think you could even get these on Amazon, but they're more money. So that's what I have. I have handy the pencil because I wrote out my own personal notations in between after I wrote one line of the Bible for my own notes, what I felt like highlighted to me. You can have the colored pencils, the highlighter, the Sharpie, or not the Sharpie, your this is an Office Depot one. You can have one of these handy if you want. It takes a little bit longer to make the side notes, but for me, this exercise is about learning, not just writing. Because I find that if I'm just writing, I'm not thinking about it. I'm just copying. That's how my ADD, ADHD, whatever I have, I need to read it and absorb it in the moment. And so for me, this is just the other ladies that were talking about writing through the Bible, they're doing it and just writing it. That's awesome. If you can do that and you want to do that, perfect. Go for it. I'm also stapling each, I think I'm going to staple each chapter of each book. So I happen to be, already wrote Genesis 1, going into Genesis 2, and I went into Psalm, I'm actually up to Psalm 3 right now. So my pen of choice to write with is my gel pen. I love writing with the gel pen. So get a good pen that's comfortable for you. Okay, so as I wrote out, and I also date it. I always, 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 always date this. So Psalm 2. So this is what I did. So there's two ways to do this. Again, just write it out as an exercise, but pay attention that you're reading as you're writing and you're understanding what you're writing. For me, it's going to take me a little bit longer because I am highlighting. I'm doing the precept upon precept, and that means I'm highlighting certain words. I'm indulging more info on the action of the sentence. I'm underlining what seems to be urgent in that line that I'm writing. So here we have in Psalm 2, it says, "Why are the nations so angry?" So for me, and boy, this relates to right now, right? In this time and age, I underline and I ask God the questions. Why is this happening? Why are people so crazy? Why are they so angry? Why is this, and this happening? So I underline that. You can also take the highlight, the Sharpie, and put why. Are the nations so, and I underlined it, so angry. And I put the square around it because angry is just that hostile word. And I'm even going to add more question marks. Why do they waste time with futile plans? Because that's a question. I may not get the answer, but man, I'm saying, Lord, why are they wasting time with these futile plans that they're doing? Instead, doesn't the Bible say love conquers a multitude of sin? Love conquers all. But the world, the nations, the government, instead of controlling with guidelines and with empathy and structure, they have to go in with anger because there are, sadly enough, angry, hostile people in the world. So they're fighting anger with anger, you know. And so instead of taking these situations and these people and saying, this is what's going to be done, you know, we're not going to. We're not going to fuel put fuel to the fire. Okay, we're gonna contain this fire and smother it out. Okay, that's my way of thinking. I think that's how God thinks as well, but that's not how the worldly people and the government think. So I go on and say the kings of the earth prepare for battle, the rulers plot together. Okay, so that's a highlight. It's those people, it's the rulers, and they're plotting together against the Lord and against his anointed ones. Now here I made a mistake and I put the, and you know, some people get white out. I don't care. To me, I'm not going to be, this is not going to be, it doesn't have to be perfect. Writing your handwriting, whether you like it or not, I don't care if other people like my handwriting. I have had people say, I love your handwriting. I've had people say, I hate your handwriting. I don't really care because we all have a unique way we write. We all do. It's like a fingerprint. I could look at handwriting of people I know and know who wrote it because their handwriting is unique as their personality, as our fingertips, and the way we look. So just let it roll. Forget about what you like or don't like. You know, don't think, you know, it's got to be perfect. It's got to be no mistakes. I don't care. I can get my white out and white that out. To me, that's sloppier looking because it gets bumpy and all that kind of stuff. So, I mean, I could make a picture. I could put a sticker there. There's a lot of things I could do to cover that up if I choose to later. So I continue writing, and then I highlighted. Again, I'm writing this for me as if God and I are talking. Okay, and if I was having a conversation, I would emphasize, you know, in this. Now, again, I'm not writing this for the public, but I'm putting my own thought process into this. I'm deciding, I highlighted in capital, in big letters, let us break the chains, they cry, and free ourselves from the slavery to God. This is what these people, these rulers, these evil ones are saying. They're using force. They're using tenacity in their own will, in their own intelligence. And they're saying, let us break the chains, you know, and free ourselves from this slavery to God, because they don't want to be corrected. They don't want to be disciplined, if you will. And I wrote here so then here's my highlight, my what's the word I'm looking for, my intake on it, and I changed it up using my pencil. This is going to be my way of doing this. This is my words. I changed the pen up and used a pencil. You could use a different color pen, whatever. But I put, so said they who are blinded by the enemy. Okay, so that was what my takeaway was from this here. They're screaming, yelling, bemoaning, okay, And I just thought, yeah, it's just, oh, you know what, that's what I want. I misspelled. I misspelled. So I can change that and say, it's so sad they are blinded by the enemy and they don't even realize it. And so I put the square around but, because again, every if and or but is different. But the one who rules in heaven laughs. So I went from the print, the semi print, into a little cursive here. God laughs at those who think that they're going to mock God. God is omnipotent. He's the creator. He's Alpha. He's in charge. Period. Whether you believe it or you don't. The Lord scoffs at them. Okay, and then again, I changed up and I wrote in my Sharpie here. I went from the gel, and there's not a big difference between the Sharpie and the gel, but if you press it a little bit harder on the paper, you can tell there's a little bit of difference between the way that the felt and the gel write. And then in anger he rebukes them, terrifying them with his fierce fury. And then again, I changed up my writing a little bit. For the Lord declares. Okay, so then he says, listen, people, listen, Linda. I'm saying, I have placed my chosen king on the throne. And again, I changed up my way of writing, so you can go from cursive to print. You can do large letters, small letters, and like I did here, I put laughs to emphasize different words. Find your writing. Make this fit to your writing. Okay, practice. If you want to use my examples, that's great. Take a snapshot of the video so that you can kind of remember as you're getting into your own method of how you want to write this, to remember it. This is the whole point of this exercise. Again, you don't even have to keep, you can write it and then throw the piece of paper in the garbage. And then it goes on, and then I wrote here in my note. Now, I am using a Bible that's got some little extras on the bottom, extra information. So, and in verse 2:6, where did I put that? Oh, here we go. So I have placed my chosen king on the throne in Jerusalem, is the text. And then I have in the notes, the cliff notes down here, in Hebrew, that's Zion. So I just wrote that. I put H for Hebrew. It's either Hebrew or Greek. So I put that down on my holy mountain. And I just, his holy mountain, there's a reverence. And, if I wanted to, I could highlight that. And he put the chosen king, I could do that and highlight it. And again, this is a little taste of, this is my own version of the precept upon precept devotional study with Kay Arthur. She does a phenomenal job. She's got it all laid down and she's phenomenal. But this is my own version of how I do it for me, so I can do it my method and not have to refer to her method and her highlights and how she uses her icons. And so again, I add my little hearts. I'm a heart person. I add hearts to a lot of things. So I continue on, cursive writing, and then I emphasized, that I will give you the nations as your inheritance, the whole earth as your possession. And go on down, and again, he's giving Jesus the authority over the earth and things like that. And then here I highlighted in big print, serve the Lord. And then with reverent fear. And I made it 2 different lines and another line and another line because I wanted to emphasize this. Serve the Lord with reverent prayer and rejoice with trembling. Period. Okay. And you can even emphasize the period, because when we say period, that means end of discussion. Submit to God's royal Son. And I added arrows here because we need to serve the Lord. We need to have a reverent fear, not a scary fear like, oh my God, what's going to happen? I'm going to get punished. Not that kind of fear. That's the devil's kind of fear. We want to have reverence to his dominion, his character, his omnipotency and have that kind of wonderful reverence, like you would an honoring kind of reverence, like I have for my grandparents, because I love them and honor them and appreciate them, and and that, of course, I'm not putting them in the same plateau as God at all, but it's that kind of, like, if my grandfather or grandmother had said, Donna, come, come sit down, we're gonna have a talk or a discussion, I would have that immediate fear, like, oh my God, I'm gonna be punished. What did I do? Oh no, and this is not that kind of, God doesn't have, it's not that kind of fear, like, oh my goodness, what did I do? It's a reverence, it's a humility, like, I submit to you, whether it's being disciplined and he's correcting you, he does it out of love, and a good parent, and this is a hard thing, we can't relate God to our parents, our physical parents, because a lot of parents did bad things, or hurt our kids' feelings, and I know that I hurt my kids' feelings and never meant to, but in that parental fleshly, not always thinking, God, how do I do this, or how do I step into this or have this discussion? It's a reverence of, like, okay, how am I going to correct this? So it's just a holiness. It's a sweet spot of, you're not in trouble. It's just, let's fix this. So that's that sweet surrender, that sweet submission to God. But I will say, again, I put my side notes here. Pay attention. And I wrote it, I should have put it in pencil, but I didn't. And then I put in my side notes here, God and Jesus get angry. They're not fluffy and sweet. He's a father that delegates goodness and punishment as needed. So people, I think, in the world think that because you're a Christian, you're supposed to just be a kicking board. And people can just throw up on you, regurgitate, punch you, slap you, whatever, with their words, with their whatever, and you're supposed to just take it because you're a Christian. That's not how it works. We can have a righteous indignation. Now, there's a difference in a line that you have to catch yourself. Is this righteous indignation, or am I going over the line into bullying or being hostile? And we all go there sometimes because we're tired, because we're sick, because we've got a lot on our plate, and it's that thing, we have to be very careful and be aware of, you, and if you don't take the time to find out, Lord, where's my breaking point, and let me be aware of it so I don't cross over into a bad place. And I know one thing I learned very early on in my life is, when I know that I might say something that will be hurtful or bad, I, most of the time, not always, but I will shut my mouth and say nothing. And sometimes saying nothing speaks volumes. So I know that if I don't shut my mouth, if I'm in a place where I'm going to attack and be angry and say something I shouldn't say, I will just be quiet and pull back. And then in my mind, I'm saying, Holy Spirit, help me. Help me to say the words. And I'm actively thinking, how do I reframe this, what I want to say, so that it's to the point and I don't let this happen again. I don't let someone bully me and push me into something I don't want to do, but I'm going to get my point across that this is a line we're not going to cross. And do it with firmness, but yet with the dignity and understanding to not bury a hatchet, if you will. I was trying to think the right say. And then sometimes if it's depending on the relationship with the person, sometimes I will say, I'm just going to take a moment. I'm giving myself a break right here. Let's just not talk right now for a moment. So I don't want to walk away from it. I want to finish the conversation or the situation, but I need to regroup and find, I got to regroup here for a second. I'm at a boiling point. And if I say something, it's going to be bad and it's going to make things worse. So if it's a relationship that I can say that with, I'll go there. If it's not, if it's just something at work or a surfacey thing, then I'll just pull back. And most people will know. They could see it in my face. So anyhow, I say that to relate to that we are allowed to tell people God is not a pansy. He says in the Bible many times, he is a God of righteousness and he gets angry when there's things that are going wrong. And so that's kind of that's my layout. And that's what I wanted to share with you. And I encourage you to do that. Again, just regular old notebook paper. What I did was I made it even super easier because I knew like folders don't carry this much paper very well. You could get a little binder that's got the clip binders. You could do one of those. You might have to graduate, start with a 1/2 inch, go to 1 inch, go to 2 inches. I think 2 inches is probably what it might end up taking, or even 3 inches if you've got space for that. I find that too cumbersome, so I don't have a place to put a binder like that, so I don't know as I will keep it. This lays flat at least, so I just use a good Ziploc bag. You can get them at the dollar store, but they are kind of cheap. You can decorate it with some duct tape or washi tape or whatever if the seams seem to break. You can do 1 Ziploc per book. That's another way, but it's easy to carry, and then I can put my pens in there, and I can carry it with me anywhere I want. And it's sealed, so that way the papers don't fly away. And I have my Genesis on one side, and I have the Psalms on the other side. And I just keep, so actually I did Psalm 3. Oh no, I did, yeah. I wrote Proverbs, but it's really... So what I'm doing here, I put Proverbs 3. It's not Proverbs 3. Answer the trust in the Lord. Oh no, I did Proverbs 3. Okay, so silly me. I did Proverbs. Forget about that. I am going to staple this though. And so, however you want to do it. I just find going through the Genesis part a little cumbersome. So I'm going to leave that. When I come back I'm going to put Psalm 3 here. And then I'm going to date it. If you keep this down the road, you can reference this. And again, I like the fact of I like to write down my own notes and putting that in a different pencil form, whether you want to use color. I like the fact, to me, mentally, the pencil, it's like God is the gel, he's the bold ink, and I'm the submitter. I'm the follower. So I'm in pencil. So it's a little bit lighter. It's not about what I say, it's about what he says. So that's why I decided to go with the pencil. To me, it's lighter. It's not part of the words in the Bible, but it's my thought process of what that just said and what it spoke to me, and that's how we have to make the word relatable to us and in us. So that's what I have today. Again, blessings. If you have any questions, feel free to comment, and I will answer as soon as possible.